Well, one milestone day is just about here. We have just the power, not the communication stuff yet for the audio panel, right?
Yeah, we have a power and CAN bus.
Okay, so I think everything is done other than the audio part for that. And we are going to hook up the battery. We'll put the screens in and give it a test. So we promise some excitement, but hopefully not too much excitement.
We don't want any of those.
We're not anticipating anything bad. We just want to be prepared. So we cleared the driveway, took the chocks out, and right now got a couple of fire extinguishers ready. And right now we're just gonna double check everything of what should be hooked up, could be hooked up, shouldn't be hooked up, or couldn't be hooked up. And then we'll hook up the battery. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Anything you can think of why we shouldn't plug on the battery?
No.
No? Okay, you're in charge of that fire extinguisher. I'm in charge of this one. If anything smokes, it's going right out there. So here's the battery connection. Let's do it. Hopefully this will be a very boring part. Watch me short it out against the freaking... Battery's charged. Lithium, Earth-X. Mask on, fire suit on. So this has the ignition.
Both ignitions.
Okay, doing nothing, so that's good. That's exciting. We have not even a spark because everything is off. So that means no ignition wires are shorted. Man, why am I shaking? Should I leave it loose in case we have to kind of get it off quick? All right. I didn't hear any clicks or clunks or relays that aren't supposed to come on. Oh, you put that?
Yes.
Why?
That's the ignition switch. So as we're testing things, that's one that we
You're talking about the blue tape on that.
we might not want to touch. We can. That's mainly just turning on like the backup battery.
Okay.
Switching the power.
Oh, we need the keys. Where are the keys? They're on the center console. We're not going to start it, but...
And then we have only one blue tape. This is for the Limo jack power, which is in the console.
Okay,
So
yeah, we have that taped off. Yeah. Well, that one, and I got one under the dash too for the fans because they didn't come in yet, and I'm not sure what plug we're using. But all right, you want the honors?
Sure.
Master switch.
Well, first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to use the backup power bus, which should only turn on the PFD and the comm radio and the backup Avionics bus. So we'll turn that on first. Got the PFD. This one has its own power. So the good news is our backup 6 amp Avionics battery is working as intended.
Meow.
Is the magnetometer wire hooked up?
Only if you hooked it up.
It is not hooked up, I bet.
Do you want me to shut it off? No? Oh no, I guess it's not hooked up. That's pretty blatant. Okay. My department is heated seats, smoke pump, you know, the important stuff. Cockpit lights. All right, so what did we just do in our scientific testing? We have good temperatures.
Yep, we got an oil temperature reading, and we had a little bit of a change in the manifold pressure when you blew on it.
No, I actually sucked on it. It's not manifold pressure.
It went down, so that's a good sign. Yep, down to 29.3. And it's creeping up there. So, all right, next step is battery master. So, crossing fingers.
All right. I'm so scared.
Okay, it's actually updating some software for some of the different components.
Okay, so that's this guy. So that means I get...
registered the audio panel, and it's actually updating the software for the audio panel here.
All right.
So next step, when we turn on the Avionics Master, the MFD and the GPS should come on. So, all right, no burnt wire smells.
No.
Okay, that's good.
I heard a big clunk over there. It was the relay, and that was it. And that's all I wanted to hear.
So cool thing, we got the lights in the
yep, those are
switch
working.
clusters are working.
Nice.
So these are preset to 5 volts, which was a little bit of a dimmer setting. It looks like it's pretty good in daylight.
Sure is.
And it should actually be good at night too. So we have a little circuit that down converts the voltage.
Okay.
All right, next step will be Avionics Master. So
nope, I just saw this guy flash. So this switched over. Is that why it went out?
Switched over. Technically, it should on the way back to the backup battery. It shouldn't have that effect, but we'll see. All right, so cool. We got our MFD. So we got actually more sensors now. So if we go over to the engine page, we could see here is the primary power bus 13.2.
Yeah.
We got the 13.1 on the auxiliary, which is the backup avionics bus. So that's the 6 amp hour battery behind here.
That one up there.
And then we have the ignition battery, which still is reading 0 because we have the switch powered off here.
Gotcha. So the ignition battery would be this one.
Yep.
Okay.
So
during normal flight, those would be on or off?
So during normal flight, our procedure is going to be to have these always on, and this way if there's ever a primary power bus failure, it'll automatically switch over.
Okay.
You could manually do it too, so that's always an option.
I'll have to familiarize ourselves with the POH that we don't have yet.
All right, so next step, why don't we turn on the autopilot? It should actually also update the software in the servos,
okay.
most likely.
Oh.
And, so we're gonna...
I'll just hold it.
So bezel lights came on. Updating AFCS software, that's the software for the autopilot.
Okay.
So
I'm just gonna do this. All right. So we just figured out we have a trim indicator there, and I was pushing the trim down, and it's working.
So one cool test, we could actually hit.
Hold on, I don't think that it's working on. It's getting it from this side, but not on that side. Like, see how it turns blue?
Oh, I see.
Watch, that's the one wire I hooked up, the ground wire for that stick.
We had the splices over here.
No, I know. George hooks up 1,500 wires, and it works, and I hook up 1 or 2. Well, actually, the lights. I did the lights. Did the lights work? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, there they go. Oh, look at that, huh? So we got lights under there. Looks like a nice range for dimming, too.
I haven't yet
lights up there.
I haven't yet configured the avionics to use the dimming bus, but
I mean, it goes from dark to bright, so I like that. Oh, sorry, that was the avionics, yeah. My bad.
Oh, so, well, it's at least the...
We gotta turn the lights off in the shop for that. Cockpit lights, try that. Yay! Look at that, huh? In case you gotta work under the panel, you gotta hook up here too. Oh yeah, so yeah, there you go.
So we just have to configure. Right now, these are on photocell configuration,
which might be fine. But like the ones we fly now, the 275s are awesome.
There is a transition from dimmer to photocell, so like it could be on the photocell most of the time, and then like if you want it to go to a dimmer setting, because we have this off setting.
Okay, so the scenario would be you're flying, it gets dark out. These are on photocell.
But
And
it's
then-
still too bright.
And it's still too bright. So as you turn this up, they'll actually get dimmer.
No.
No.
It's on the lowest setting.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
So this is off. That's photo cell. This would be,
The lowest setting.
and then this would make it brighter. That's kind of cool. I like that. It's intuitive.
So the other thing too, we should be able to go to the VPX config and see how much power everything's drawing. So we're drawing 5 amps right now with everything on.
Wow. That's not much at
And
all.
our
All right, so far I would call this a complete success. We're gonna, now that we realize we don't have to push the plane out in a hurry, we're gonna hook up the cowl, we can test the camera, hook up the center console so we can test the USBs, we know the lights work, maybe I'll grab the seats, make sure the heaters work. And George has some configuration to do, but so far so good. This is super exciting. Oh, we're gonna test, what are we gonna do with the ELT? I know you told me 100 times. We're gonna do some kind of...
oh, okay. So that's why it didn't turn on. You have to configure it to tell it that there's a battery installed.
Because of course.
And we could have it do automatic power off always, or what are the options? On ground only, never.
Should we,
We could have it do auto turn off on ground only.
I don't have a flywheel on the engine, so the best, I just didn't want it to throw it off because we're gonna have a prop on it, but we can see if the starter engages as it should. You wanna venture to that?
What's that?
You wanna put the key in and see if the starter engages as it should? Just give it a quick crank.
Sure. We have the keys.
Yeah, it's up there, sorry. Put it there.
Do you want to do the honors?
Sure. So why don't you stand over here and maybe just put your hand on that relay and make sure it clicks. I mean,
Okay, so right now we have.
what do we want to turn off?
Well, the ignition. It's only the backup ignition that is off right now. So ignition's technically being powered off of the primary bus. So.
All right, so we'll try that. So basically that relay, that contactor should just like clunk.
Okay.
And no sparks. All right, ready?
Yep. Yep.
Beautiful. Okay, that's all I want to do.
Wow.
So I say high five. That's
Lot of
pretty
progress.
freaking. What are the chances of? Knock on wood. I'm just gonna shut up.
Well, why don't we turn on the backup ignition?
Is that the last?
power? That's one of the last things. Okay, so we can see that the power for the backup ignition it just went up.
I don't even know what's what. So this is the big battery out front, the main. This is the backup Avionics, and this is the backup on this side.
Yep.
Oh, so that's actually cool. Left is the left battery and right's the right battery.
And then one other thing that we could test, we could try putting the autopilot into pitch mode, like which would capture the current pitch, and then we should feel the
Okay,
motor.
let me yeah, obviously nothing's interfering with it because this is free and clear,
I'll
right?
hold it.
No, I just so here's something totally side note, but once we put the engine on, this got very light without the tail feathers on, and I actually have a lead weight in there, and it's wrapped in a microfiber towel, and I think it's still in there because the tail is down on its own, but now I put the closeout on, so I hope I can get it out. I hope I was smart enough to think of that. Otherwise, I'm doing those rivets. But anyway, back to fun stuff. What are you gonna do? The autopilot, right?
Yep.
So this cables are loose, but I don't think that matters. All right. So what are we gonna do? Autopilot?
Well, the boost pump's technically hooked up. That's another thing we haven't.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
Oh.
Oh, that's the fan for the GPS.
Okay.
So you could see in here, like you could actually cycle a lot of things without the switches, but the switches are pre-configured to operate a lot of these things.
All right. So go back to cabin lights.
Which one? We could
Oh, yeah. No, hold on.
toggle that right
Oh no
now.
shit. Oh why? Oh, then the check mark comes. And if I turn it on here and turn it off, it overrides it. That's so cool.
Yep.
So one thing that was brought to my attention is the inlet fans, because Fancy Derek flush mounted all these are inside here. So plan B is it does suck a lot of air from inside there, but if we need to put cooling slots in there, we will do that, but not only if we have to.
This is the first time seeing the audio panel settings.
Yeah.
So the other cool thing too is like you could toggle the frequencies here and it'll, you know, automatically switch it here or vice versa. You could swap them here and it update it again.
So wait, if I turn this on, will it come on?
Alternator.
Nice. Holy shit.
Consider that a pretty successful test so far.
I would say that's mind-blowing. Not that I didn't have any faith, I just, my head is spinning. You have any count of how many pins you had put in or plugs?
Lots.
Hundreds? Did it hit 1,000? I mean, you probably have it. He's got like
in terms of pins,
books and documentation, like just wires hooked up. Every one of these, you know,
it's a lot of wires.
6, 12, 12, 24.
I mean just
look
the back of the switches alone was a lot of wires and connectors.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So, all right, well, let's try this. We're going to engage the autopilot, which we should feel a little bit of pressure here.
Autopilot on? No, it is on.
Okay, something just flashed here. Let's see. What? Why did it say that? Let's see. Flight director works. It's possible that it might not engage if in autopilot mode without the servo being attached. That's a possibility. Because it did flash for a minute.
That servo? All right, let me hook up the trim servo. It's something I wanted to do actually. So I'm gonna take that and finagle it back here.
Put it
I'll be right back. All right, do the trim motor again.
That should be going down.
That would be nose down. Yep. This. Wait, you're saying that's neutral?
It thinks that this is about neutral.
Okay. Yeah, we're about 10 degrees up, so.
I don't know how you...
I mean, there's like a jack screw on the little trim motor. I don't know how much play is in it. You had to cut it to some length, so I just picked a random length or something somebody else did. A very small issue, but trim works. Now I just hope that the dog doesn't knock it off the end there.
I want to test this GPS thing at some point too, so that'll be another fun little
So.
test.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to test? GPS?
So GPS has, we have this right now armed, but one of the things that they want you to do is to test to make sure that the thing is getting a GPS signal. So right now we have the GPS from
This guy.
Yeah, the GPS from the G5 is split to provide GPS signal to that guy over there.
Okay, so where does it say GPS? I don't even see it.
What's up?
How do you know this gets GPS?
Well, it would tell you if there was no GPS signal.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a...
Because you know what I'm going at. I want to stick it underneath my cowl to make sure my plastic's not metallicized.
So we have to make this little test tool. So the way that this works is that when this is hooked up, you would actually, there's a inline resistor here, like a 300 ohm resistor. You got to like build this, and then you hook up one side to the aircraft ground, and then one side to this little test wire that you just use once to make sure the thing is getting a GPS signal.
Oh.
And then if so, let's see, I believe that the light is supposed to blink. So the LED should blink each time the ELT receives a valid GPS data position. Once per second, it's typical. So
Right, well, we'll try it. But do we have a ground over there? I mean, this is a ground here. If you want to put the...
yeah, I mean, we
The
could
block
also
wire.
even do.
Well, these are all painted, so they might not be a good ground. Just stick it inside here, the big one, top one. Oh, do we, yeah, ground will be ground, right? We can put a voltmeter on it and see about the pitot heat too. And that's another thing we can test.
So,
Pull it. There you go, you got it.
all right.
So that'll feed voltage out that wire?
This should be
Okay.
like a very small voltage.
We got a resistor on there, so probably 12 volts now.
It says it should be rated for, the LED should be rated for 2 volts.
Okay. Transponder configure.
Yeah, so I don't know what that is. We'll have to look at it. I don't think I configured any of the transponder stuff yet here. And the transponder is not CAN bus, so it doesn't auto-configure itself. There's a couple different connections.
Alright, we'll get back to you on that one. Alright, so we're just checking to see if we got a good ground there. And we do have a good ground. But more concerning is if we have 12 volts and the pitot heat is off.
Let's see what the VPX is telling us. So, veto.
Do you have to like...
Is off.
So what happens if you turn it on?
It just went up to 9.2.
Pitot heat off. I mean, silly question. It's pitot heat is on and off like a dumb thing, right? Just 12 volts.
Correct.
So right now that circuit has 12 volts.
That's not a light circuit?
No. Not with 14 gauge wire or 16 gauge or whatever we used.
Well, let's take a look. What else is... Let's try shutting off.
Oh, I want to try that. So it's smoke. Here is the... I don't hear this relay clicking.
Well, that relay is not going to click until you do that.
Oh, gotcha. See what happens there. All right, here we have the smoke button. That's triggered to that. Oh yeah, pump works. What is that? Oh, trim. That's your trim button. That's why this didn't work. When you just did the trim before, were you using these or these?
These. Well, I was using that.
Yeah, because remember this didn't work on here either.
Okay, so this is smoke.
All right. So we just have to
A couple
figure.
of pins
Okay.
need to be readjusted there.
And then autopilot disconnect, is that an issue maybe with the autopilot? Oh, so there's your trim. So what is, yeah, now it's doing it. So that's trim.
This is trim up and down. And this is smoke. And this is probably autopilot disconnect.
Okay. All right, so this one, smoke is good. And then trim up, trim down. Can we hit push to talk? Should it do transmit anyway?
I don't know. That's the only side where the push to talk is actually hooked up. This side is not.
Okay,
So we might maybe see something here, but...
Oh.
Oh, right, because we don't have the radios hooked up to the audio panel right now. So when it
Oh, I thought it was just the analog side or whatever, the mics and like a headphone not plugged in yet.
Normally the TX and RX are on the comm is where it detects it, as opposed to on the audio panel.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm gonna plug that in, plug the heated seats in. I'll be right back.
I found the screen where you configure the video, and so let's try it. There's a camera. Camera's on the cowl.
Yeah.
Oh.
Taylor's in the plane! Alright, so we have constant power on the pitot circuit. And we have no power on the heated seats. Both probably very easy fixes, but George is also scratching his head on the autopilot servos.
Trying to like update the software on them, and then it just stops. But I also don't see them in the diagnostics, so.
Alright, we're gonna see if the sensors work. We got some ambient readings. Which one do you want first? CHT or? Yeah, we'll do the exhaust actually. So that should be cylinder 1 exhaust.
Hold on. Hasn't changed yet.
Yeah, cylinder 1. EGT now?
Okay, now it's going up.
Going up?
EGT is up to 70 degrees now on that one. 75. Yeah, 80.
Okay. So the, I don't fill it out, but the
90.
Is the CHT going up?
CHT is going up slightly, so
Okay.
it was at like 60 something. It's at 73 now.
And the other ones are still in the 60s?
Yeah.
Sure we get the right cylinder on the right,
Right probe. Yep, it's up to 70 now and 69.
we're gonna check cabin heat. Got cabin heat? So we really have a short list of squawks, huh?
Pretty short.
Reconfigure a couple of pins on that driver stick.
Yeah,
And
then
figure out,
we gotta figure out why the software update on the servos is failing. That's
Okay.
really weird.
We figured out the lights, even though with the VPX it was reading 12 volts. These are the wing light plugs. I plugged in an actual light and it's actually fine. So it works as it should, other than the landing light. So basically that's our nav light, strobe light, on, off, and then this would be our nav light, on, off. So
and this one on too.
yeah, we have that one tied into the nav light, so you can kind of have a little bit of something in case you got to read. But. All right, I would say this was a very successful day. The sun is shining, the weather gods are with us. The smoke genie stayed inside all the boxes, and we've had this thing powered up for what, at least an hour or two now. So a little bit of fine tuning, but well, this video is probably kind of long, but it's exciting. So nice job, George. Congratulations. That's a shit ton of wiring. Yeah. He was worried about the primitive wiring, which to me was really simple. Like contactor, turn that on, but we got that working, got the camera working, and got to finish the audio, and that's it. Some software configuration and work out.
We gotta figure out why the battery's not registering.
Oh yeah. Anybody have that problem? The battery's not registering on the G5. Not sure if it's a setup thing or if we got a bad battery or I don't know, anything. Oh, did you just hit something? Because this thing spun.
Huh?
When you hit that, this thing spun. I don't know, is that hooked up to the 8 hours or something? All right. Anyway, we'll end this here. We'll get it posted. We'll see how long it is. And happy building. Cheers.